Hello and thank you for joining me today. Have you heard this saying before? Done is better than perfect. For me, I first saw it on a colleague's status and it got me thinking. Have you known some people who are always planning and planning? They wait for the conditions to be right. They have great plans, great dreams, but they just never do anything. And then there's another person who just keeps doing. And when you look at these two people over the course of 5 years, for example, you see that one person is way up closer to their goal, while another person is still planning and trying. These people who keep planning are people who err on the side of caution. Today I want to talk to you about people who err on the side of action. That is the goal. That's where we should be as individuals. And like I said in the previous video, there are many benefits to erring on the side of action. One is that you just build momentum. By the time you keep doing, over time you're building momentum, and that sort of energy, that momentum can get things done. Versus you just keep learning. Well, you might increase your mass, but there's no velocity, you're not moving, there's no energy there. Now, I read something about the fattest people on the earth. Now, these people are individuals that weigh almost 1,000 tons, that at some points they can't eat by themselves anymore. People have to feed them. And I think about this in the context of people who just keep learning. You're learning, but you're not doing anything with it. And over time, it becomes a paralysis, I would say. Because after a time, you've learned so much, you can't even do. Because you know that that's not the way it should be done. Oh, but then if you do it this way, you should not do it this way. And then you begin to second guess yourself, and it's just like, at least just do something first. Do something, and then you will learn from what you're doing. You start building some form of momentum. So that's one key benefit of erring on the side of action. Another benefit is that it just builds your confidence. By the time you've made 100 videos, you're not going to be shy in front of a camera. You've done this 100 times, you're fine. And that leads nicely into another benefit, that you have more material to learn from, to get feedback from. If you've done this over and over again, then you know what to expect in a sense, and you know how you can handle it. You've learned from your previous experiences, and so you have more material to learn from. I can give you more and more benefits of erring on the side of action. For example, you also know that because you've done this over time, you can build some sort of reputation with that thing, which is great because it allows you seize opportunities. By the time you keep doing something over and over again, maybe not the same thing, but you're just acting, you're having momentum, you will naturally lead yourself into areas where opportunities abound, and then you'll be able to capitalize on opportunities. Versus if you just get planning and it's in your mind, it's something you're thinking about, you plan to do this someday, erring on the side of caution. Now, there's some disadvantages, of course, of erring on the side of action, but those are disadvantages that come when you don't have a strategy towards erring on the side of action. And let me give you some. Now, of course, it's more costly, because if you're doing, it will cost you something. Either cost your time, cost your money, cost your effort. It's costly to keep doing, especially when you're making mistakes. But you see, this is why, especially when the stakes are low, when it's not a grand project or something that will have life or death implications, etc. When the stakes are low, are still small, the best thing is to err on the side of action then. Keep doing more and more, and then you keep refining your ability, you keep refining your experience, your knowledge, your approach. So yeah, it's a little bit more costly, but with a good strategy, that is still manageable. Also, when you err on the side of action, yes, it can affect your reputation if you're always just making mistakes. You're just making mistakes. People begin to see you as the mistake guy. So that's important, that you don't just do things without having some sort of balanced approach, thinking through what you're going to do. It also leads to sometimes wasted efforts, which is the cost, wasted effort, wasted time, because that didn't work. But I tell you, this is a numbers game. In the long run, the people who win are people who have done more than the people who just keep planning. I've heard something, they say that the master is the one who has been the best failure in that sense. He has failed so often, he now knows how to win. So it's a very important concept, especially for people who are younger. It applies to everyone, but for people who are younger. And the problem is that in today's age, because people are seen on social media, people being very excellent and very good, then people have this higher threshold for failure. Would that be higher or lower? They are just so afraid to fail. Like, come on, see somebody else's video. See how it's so fine and clean. Look at my own. What am I doing? And so they just don't want to fail. And so they say, let me plan a little more. Let me wait until I get the equipment. No. Erring on the side of action is that, yeah, it might be a little bit embarrassing. It might be costly. You might make mistakes. But you're doing something and you have something to get feedback from. That's really important. One more thing I'd say about erring on the side of action is that it's important now not to just keep doing things without thinking. You're just doing it for the sake of the numbers alone. It's important that you have a proper feedback loop. How are you going to, okay, I made this video. What do I learn from this video? I think I said things a little bit too fast here. I should slow down for next time. And it's just this, I'm just thinking about it now. I just see it so many times. You see all the, I didn't finish my thought there. So it's just this thing where you're able to learn from what you've done before so that the next one can be a little bit better. So incremental steps, being 1% better every day. I was going to say that you can see this in almost every field. The best basketballers are the ones who have made the most failures. Michael Jordan is a classic example. He says he has lost more shots than he has made. You think about people like Kobe Bryant of blessed memory. You think of people like LeBron James in basketball. And not just basketball, all the sports. They're the people who have practiced the most. Now, all of those practice times were times when they were erring on the side of action. They might have made a mistake. They might have injured themselves. They might have cost them something. But that was erring on the side of action rather than sitting down on the sidelines and erring on the side of caution. I hope this video inspires you to take action. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.